Today we are going to be doing a quick, not very quick because I stay at the gym for like way too long, but anyways, we're going to be doing a back, bicep, maybe abs video today. So let's hop to it. Waking up at 4:30 every morning has really just kind of changed the way that I live my day. I find that I am doing so much more throughout my day, and honestly, at first, like, yes, it was terrible, but now I'm kind of digging the whole waking up super early and just being super productive. Before I start any exercises, I like to put on my rip-toned wrist guards just to make sure that my wrists are in proper position when I'm doing things like curls. I bought this set on Amazon. I think it's like less than $25. I'll put the link in the description. So before I start my exercises, I like to do little stretches like this where I just kind of stretch out my lats and do these assisted pull-up things just to get my muscles working. And for those of you who can't do pull-ups, try to start by doing these scapula movements. So you aren't obviously doing the full pull-up, you're keeping your arms straight, but you're kind of lifting with your shoulder blades, if that makes sense. I'm going to turn around to show you guys like what I'm really doing, but you basically want to keep your arms straight and kind of lift yourself up. That motion is actually the first primary motion within a pull-up. These exercises actually helped me do my very first pull-up. So continuing on with these stretches, I like to lean forward and kind of just squeeze my back. So I want to make sure that I am essentially trying to like touch my shoulder blades together. This really just warms up your back and is essentially like a back activation, kind of like glute activations, where you're just working those muscles without any weight, just to make sure that during your exercises you can really feel that good squeeze in them. And the key here is to go slow and controlled. Remember, this is not really an exercise. This is just making sure that you know how to properly engage your back during the exercise. It gives you a feel for how you should be positioning your shoulders and, pulling back during a lot of the exercises we're about to do. After warming up, we are going straight into bicep curls using these dumbbells. I would highly recommend using lower weights because we are going to be going for higher rep sets. I typically do about 3 sets of 20 to 30 reps, of course, for each arm. And because biceps will be utilized through a lot of our movements, even like back focused movements, you really don't want to fatigue them more than what we are about to. So just be mindful of this when selecting a weight to curl. Another exercise we will be doing for our biceps is a drag curl. So as you can see, I am pulling my elbows backwards and lifting the bar in a vertical line. In a traditional curl, the weights are typically pushed forwards and then towards your chest. In this, we are just keeping that bar close to our body and lifting upwards by hinging at the elbows and pushing them back. And note, the shorter range of motion is going to make this burn so hard because you're hardly giving those muscles any time to rest. In this next bicep curl variation, we are turning the weights inwards. This exercise is supposed to promote growth of the width of your bicep. I perform this exercise by curling the weight across my body, whereas the traditional bicep curl, you are keeping your elbows close to your body and kind of lifting the weight towards your shoulders, if that makes sense. So more vertically rather than diagonally across the body. We're going into our first back exercise. Try to keep your back neutral and pull that weight back using your elbows. Kind of just bring them back and focus on the squeeze in the middle portion of your back. I'm going to change views here so you can see that my elbows are close to my body when I am doing this, and I am just really getting a good squeeze. Try not to let the momentum allow you to lift this weight. This is essentially a free weights version of the seated row with a narrow grip. I honestly prefer this method more. I feel like I get a better squeeze this way than I do on the seated row. So continuing on with rows, I am using 25-pound plates to do this exercise. While this is similar to the previous exercise, because we are using two separate weights, the grip is not as narrow, and I really just like to make sure that I am isolating one arm at a time with certain exercises. Like the previous exercise, you want to make sure that you're keeping your spine neutral and you're bringing your elbows back. Do not allow your biceps to take over this movement. Using the same 25-pound plates, I am going to be doing a quick little trap exercise. I'm just essentially shoulder shrugging over here. Listen, I feel like a lot of people neglect their traps, and honestly, I'm kind of insecure with how my traps look, but they're absolutely necessary to build because a lot of exercises like the deadlift will require strength within your traps. So don't neglect those traps so you can be a glute goddess and a trap queen. So moving over to the pulley machine, what I am doing here is a lat pull down, but keeping my arm straight. Not sure what to call this, so I guess we will call it a straight arm lat pull down. You're going to really be focusing on the squeeze in your lats and in the middle section of your back. Remember to keep those elbows straight. You do not want to be engaging your triceps, and keep your back neutral, but I tend to push my chest outwards because I feel that this increases the engagement in my back. I just feel like it's a better squeeze that way. Now this is one of my favorite back exercises and rear delts, posterior delts. You are just bringing the bar to your collarbone area, pulling back with your elbows just to make sure that you are getting that good squeeze in your back. This is not a bicep exercise. Do not try to pull this with your biceps, and make sure that you are having a overhand grip on the bar. This exercise is very similar to the seated lat pull down, but I just feel like this also incorporates aspects of rows into this exercise, which I really prefer because I feel like I get a better squeeze in my back than I do in my biceps. Whereas I feel in the seated upright lat pull down, I am engaging a lot of my biceps in those. So yeah, I'm not quite sure if this constitutes as more of a pull down than a row, but anyways, this is chef's kiss, one of the best exercises. And now I am kneeling, and actually this is one of the most recommended exercises for building strength for a pull-up because you're also engaging your abs, your core in this exercise because of that angle. Studies suggest that because of the core engagement that occurs during this variation of the exercise, you're getting closer to the actual form of a pull-up than you are at the lat pull-down that you perform seated. Now with the same machine and the same attachment, I am doing a single arm pull down. This just makes sure that you are getting the rotation that you need in this exercise to engage all portions of the back. Like we are talking these little muscles that you wouldn't be hitting otherwise if you were just going for a pull down without the single arm isolation. In this next exercise, I am now changing my grip to be underhand, so this means I am recruiting more of my biceps than in the previous exercise. Here we will be utilizing all the muscles necessary for the typical chin up. If you have not yet performed your very first chin-up, these are excellent at building the strength necessary to do so unassisted. Next up, we are doing face pulls with the rope attachment. This exercise definitely hits those rear delts and, of course, your upper back. This exercise I typically perform one set seated and then another set standing just to make sure I'm hitting all angles of my rear delts. Next, we're going to be switching over to the bench. Using a single dumbbell, I am placing it over my head and lifting it above my chest. And I like to call this move the lat pullover. I don't know if that's what it's called. That's just what I call it. But you want to make sure that you are squeezing your lats. Do not bend your elbows because that will actually turn this into a tricep workout. Using a single dumbbell and a bench, I am performing yet another variation of a row. You want to make sure that your torso is straight and facing the bench at all times during this movement. You do not want to be twisting. You also want to make sure that you are creating a 90-degree angle with the bend of your elbow. Next, I am performing a seated lat pull down with an overhand wide grip, really focusing on the squeeze in my lats. Now finally, to wrap up my workout, I am performing preacher curls. And that wraps up my back and bicep workout day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful. If you guys want to see more, please hit like, comment down below any other videos you'd like to see, and of course, subscribe to my channel to see what the heck I am up to on a weekly basis. But until then, well, looks like I'll be needing a snack. See you guys.